Okay, hi everyone. I can see more attendees joining us, so I'll get started. Welcome to our finance talk as part of this virtual open day at the Henley Business School. I'm Dr. Dina Ghanma. I'm the Director of Postgraduate Taught Finance Programs. You've just heard from George, who is our Head of Postgrad Programs at the overall Henley Business School level, and I look after specifically our program area for finance master's degrees, which I will be telling you more about now. Hopefully everyone can see my screen and hear me okay. If there are any issues, please pop them into the Q&A and our very helpful organizers will bring them to my attention. You can see here the programs we have on offer. Like I said, there are 7 of them. Some of them are quite general, quite broad, like finance and investment management. But then you have all of these specialist modules with much more niche expertise. Things like fintech, financial technology, which I'm sure many of you are interested in, and also climate change, green finance, behavioral finance. So we do normally think of our programs as being in these two groups, and those of you who have visited our website will have seen that differentiation there as well. We have our flagship programs, and that's finance and investment management, and then our specialist programs, which are the remaining 5 you see there. And if you haven't had a chance to look at our website yet, I've put it there for you to hopefully visit very soon. Lots and lots of valuable information on there. So you probably already heard this a bunch of times. We are a triple accredited business school. We are very proud of that. Not many business schools around the world have this crown. And that is only really at the business school level. We have a lot more rankings and accreditations and affiliations that are program or program area specific. And those of you interested in finance will want to know more about that. So I've put in some info here. We are Financial Times ranked, and we are in a very good place for that, number 6 in the UK. When you think of how many amazing schools there are in the UK, it becomes very impressive that we are among the not even top 10, but even higher than that, 6th in the country. We also have this badge of honor, which is being in the top 100 in the QS rankings, which I know a lot of our international students are very interested in. So probably doesn't surprise you that we are a very well ranked, very reputable school in the UK and globally. But what you might want to know a bit more about is what do students actually think of it once they've done the program that we're offering. And here I've picked up some of the, let's say, responses and response scores for our PTES survey, which is the Postgraduate Taught Experience Survey. But you can just think of it as a survey we give all of our postgrad taught students, so all of our master's students. It is nationwide, so everyone in the UK. Or let's say it represents the UK experience of master's students. And we have done extremely well on this in the past. This is also one of our best years, so we are doing better and better. Things like, 97% saying they're satisfied with the course, 97% saying staff are great at explaining things, 100% satisfaction with resources. And generally speaking, we have seen a massive increase in this over the years as well. We've always done well, but when you are striving to be the best or among the best, then every bit of competitive edge is something we get really excited about. So we're very happy that we're on a very upward trajectory with our student experience and that we are basically right there at the top with these 90s and 100s across the board. Now, something that you are probably very interested in hearing about is our CFA and other accrediting bodies affiliations. So, the CFA is the Chartered Financial Analyst Institute. A lot of people describe this quite fairly as being the gold standard of finance certifications in the world. So, it's not UK specific. And we are affiliated with them on pretty much all of our degrees. And we, because of that, that can showcase how much alignment we have specifically to CFA level 1, but then we also have CFA level 1, 2, or 3 training depending on what you have already passed if you are already on this journey, for free to all students. So it doesn't matter which program you're on. If you express interest in CFA training for a level of your choice, that will be available throughout your degree. In terms of scholarships, there's also quite a bit of funding for this for students who are looking to actually sit one of the levels just after their master's degree. So the idea is that you train for the CFA level throughout the degree, and then you actually sit it and hopefully pass. And we have seen really good pass rates these last couple of years with students becoming more eager to gain these professional qualifications during their master's degree, just to give themselves a differentiating factor as well. Now, this is not the only affiliation. We also are accredited by the Chartered Institute for Securities and Investment, CISI, who are very well known in all around the world, but really in specific markets, including obviously the UK, but also China and the Middle East, a really big name in the finance sectors of those big economies. And this is available on 4 of our programs. Well, let me clarify. All of our students are able to sit CISI units for half price. So that is something that is available to everyone. But there's an additional layer of accreditation for the programs you see here, where you would also be exempt from a unit if you work towards the capital markets diploma. They offer so many different types of qualifications, and we have lots of experts in the department that can give you an idea of which accreditation or certification with them you might want to pursue. But this is the one that we feel is best aligned to the capital markets and financial markets aspect of many of our programs, including the ones you see here. Just a quick reminder, there is a Q&A function available, so feel free to pop your questions in there. And at the end of the session, we can go through them and answer as many questions as we can in the time we have. So more accreditations and affiliations. We have program-specific ones or discipline-specific ones. So for example, if you want risk, we have the GARP and Premia accreditations. GARP is one of the biggest institutions in the world for accrediting risk management education. So that's the Global Association of Risk Professionals. And we also have, for example, a recognition with them for our climate change program on their sustainability and climate risk program as well. So lots of different ways we are working with GARP. With corporate finance, we also have some affiliations with Chinese-based organizations where there are some, alignments between what we can offer and what is recognized in China. And again, just generally, as the ICMA Center and as the Henley Business School, there are many wider accreditations that we belong to that would, depending on where you think you might go next, you would want to showcase. So that's the nice thing, is that there are so many. You might feel like, how am I going to fit all of these on the CV? But we have a careers team that can help you really decide which of these to showcase depending on the type of job you're applying for example. So speaking of careers, a little bit more about what we have on offer. So obviously we have lots of careers advisors. There are some that are Henley specific, but then there's also a careers team at the university level, and you have access to both. One of the careers advisors is a specialist in the finance sector, but they all have experience with finance, accounting, and business related sectors. So any one of our career experts will be able to help you. We have offices for them in the building, but they also do online appointments. So lots of very flexible opportunities to pursue careers support. And there are also modules, either for credit or not, depending on your program, where we give, sessions on CV writing, professional reflection, how to research the market that you might be going in to work in, how to really understand, what is suitable for you and what isn't, depending on your personality. personality and your strengths and your values. And that does not end after you finish your degree. You get career support for at least 4 years, likely longer after you graduate. And this is very valuable for different kinds of students. For example, some students might be thinking that they want to focus on their studies during that 1 year master's and really think about applying for careers afterwards. Maybe it's not what we always recommend, but some students choose to go down that path. And then they realize, oh, I actually need a lot of career support right now, now that I've finished the degree. You can definitely access our career services at that point. And then in other cases, someone goes into a career and then changes their mind. They just realize it's not for them. They start maybe in fintech and want to move to corporate finance or the opposite. So again, the careers team will be there to support you in that transition. And we also have a mentoring scheme, so hundreds of partnerships all around the world where you can be put in touch with someone who can give you advice on how they pursued that journey and what you could do next. And as you can see, it's really a very global network that we have. Some outcomes, because I know this is of interest to people, we have to keep in mind that the markets fluctuate, and with that, our students' paths fluctuate. So from year to year, they can be quite different, including things like these metrics, average salaries and median salaries. So some years they look great, and other years they look good enough. But it's something to give you an idea of where our recent numbers sit. I think what maybe is more interesting here is just how clear it is that most of our students go into banking and finance. So there's very much a clear pipeline from doing our programs to going into the industry. You can see here that our biggest role, kind of at a general level, is analyst, which makes sense given our emphasis on data skills, analytical skills, digital skills, and critical thinking on our programs. You also see here some big names of where our students have gone in the most recent class we have this information for. So again, big names that many of you might be eyeing: JP Morgan, Morgan Stanley, Lloyd's, and data companies and consultancies as well. Now, let's talk a little bit more about our facilities. So to give you a sense of what we have on offer, we really try to teach in a way that's very applied. We are not trying to, have you in a situation where it's all theory all the time. We don't think that that is what students are looking for, and we don't think it's what would prepare you for the real world, for your next steps that you're ambitious about. So some of the ways we try to keep our teaching as applied as possible is to make sure you have access to these databases that real analysts, real traders would use on a daily basis. LSEG, you may recognize as Reuters. That's what they used to be called, their Reuters Icon platform, and now LSEG Workspace, and obviously Bloomberg, one of the biggest names in data and analytics out there. And we have these terminals inside the building that you can access around the clock and basically do anything you want on them. You can learn from them, you can follow your own training, you can do some research that you want to put up on LinkedIn just to comment on recent trends. But we also have this integrated into our teaching and projects. So every student at the end of the degree will have been exposed to both of these platforms and will be able to talk about their experience using them and show that they know how to use them when they go on to interviews at financial institutions. And more generally, our campus is really beautiful. Honestly, not many universities have a campus as big and as green and as lovely as ours. And the ICMA Center is right in the middle of that, between the pubs and the student housing section and so on. And then also on the other side, our cafes, restaurants, again, more pubs and bars, and also the central quad and the lake and the ducks and the swans and so many lovely things that you will want to see when you come and visit. And also Reading as a town is lovely, and it's only about 20-25 minutes away from London on a fast train to Paddington, and from there you can very easily go into the city as well. So I would say it's definitely less than an hour, kind of door to door to the Bank of England from Reading Station. And also there's the Elizabeth line, which can take you all the way to Canary Wharf, which is kind of the new city of London, if you will, where more financial institutions have their headquarters as well. Okay, I will say a few more things, but really a lot of what I'm saying now and what is in my slides is on the website. So I just want to quickly remind you that if you haven't visited our website yet, it would be worth very much going on there and clicking through all the various tabs. There's a menu always on the side that can help you skip to the section you're most interested in, whether it's wanting to know more about the course structure or the fees and funding, including our many and very generous scholarships that we have on offer for top applicants. But some of you might be wondering, what if I've not done finance before? What if my undergrad is in geography or film and theater? Well, one way we try to get everyone to the same level is by using these pre-entry, self-paced, fully online pre-entry courses. And you can see them here. So building blocks of finance, building blocks of maths and stats, Python, and study skills. And these are constantly being updated, so you can watch videos, answer questions, post comments in the discussion forum, and then us, the teaching team that you will actually interact with when you are here at Henley Business School, are engaging with those forums. So we go into the comments, we read what you're saying, we reply, we give our opinions as well. So very interactive, but at the same time very flexible. And these take however long you want to spend on them, really. You can skip through things you really know. You can spend longer on things that you don't. But ultimately, you would be expected to complete these. And once you're done, it'll give you a really good foundation for the degree. So other than these, we don't expect any particular background. So you don't need to have done finance before. You don't need to have done coding before. You don't need to even have a particularly mathematical background, as long as you're comfortable with numbers. And if you are comfortable with that maths and stats course, that means you have what you need to join us. So program structure, it's a year-long program, starts in September and then ends in the following September. Graduation would be a few months after in December. So it's cold, but it's also lovely, and there's decoration and lights everywhere, and it's probably everyone's highlight in their year. You can see it's divided into essentially 3 semesters, 1, 2, and the summer. And the summer is one of our most flexible semesters, where you get to go abroad or do a work placement, and there's a lot of flexibility around that and a lot of opportunity to really kind of do something different from just the kind of more traditional teaching and learning that you might expect elsewhere. On that work placement module, you can see some of where our students have gone. We support you in different ways in getting this. Ultimately, it is the student's responsibility to find the placement, but like I said, lots of careers advice and lots of support, whether it's like sending you lists of available placements for you to apply to, or if it's bringing people in and you having a conversation with them to see if they can train you over the summer, or if it's telling you where our students have gone before and giving you the contact details so you can reach out to them. So lots of ways we put you in touch, and then you write a reflective project, and that's it. That's your summer module. Another option is that you go abroad and that you either go to Venice for a fintech module, or let's say a high algorithmic trading module. You might not know what that is yet, but you will once you've learned the basics on the program, or a sustainability module. Or if you are on finance or investment management, you can go to Athens instead and spend a month there on a more fintech and digital finance type module. And we cover the tuition fees. You would have to pay for your travel and accommodation, but for some of these opportunities, there is funding available. So, more to experience and more to learn about this. when and if you join us. Okay, I wanted to take a couple of minutes or maybe a little bit longer to stop sharing my slides and move on to just showing you a little bit of the platforms that you would be engaging with if you were to join us. So I'm just going to stop sharing for a second and reshare. The first thing I want to show you is our trading platform. So that's something I haven't really mentioned yet. Let me share it now, and I think Shu can help me make sure it's live. And I believe that it is because I can see it being shared. So what you're looking at right now is our IC Trader platform, our in-house, fully let's say proprietary, we've created it ourselves, we run it ourselves, trading simulation platform. And on our programs, you would be doing this on a weekly basis in 2-hour workshops. If you look at this right now, you might not know what you're looking at, very early days, but I can give you a bit of an idea. Over here on the left, you can see dealers. These are all computers, but you might recognize some of the shorthand like GSCO, that's Goldman Sachs, for example. You also have JP, JP Morgan. And then you've got clients. Again, you might recognize some of them, BlackRock, Vanguard. And down here, you can see some stocks, which is basically equity in a company, so ownership of companies. Tesco, maybe you've heard of it. It's one of our biggest grocery stores in the UK. You've got GlaxoSmithKline, so a pharmaceutical company. And up here, you can see what would be happening to their prices throughout the day. So I'm just going to play a little bit of this and show you the kind of things students would be doing on this trading platform. So you can probably hear that. That's a call I'm receiving from one of the dealers. Okay, I've taken too long to answer, so they've canceled. But what I might do is call one myself. So maybe I call JP Morgan and I say that I would like to buy 100 shares of Tesco. And then they are going to give me what we call a two-way price. Let's say I agree to it. You can see that I now have 100 shares of Tesco. Tesco's going up. That's what we can see from the graph. And as it does that, once I have... Oh, it's getting louder. Let me just turn the volume down. Hopefully you can hear that, but hopefully it's also not too loud for you. So what we are seeing here is basically the price changes for Tesco while news comes in. Now, this news could be related to Tesco or it could be related to other things, either the whole UK market or something completely irrelevant. In this case, actually, it's about the US market. So I need to quickly read that and decide if it's going to change how I trade. But going back to my prices, you can see now that Tesco has gone up quite a bit and I have covered my fee after transacting with JP Morgan, I'm making a little bit of profit, £17 in simulated money worth of profit. And as you can see, still getting calls. So now these are the dealers calling me to see if I'm willing to transact with them. And I can answer them, I can say, all right, they want to buy some EasyJet shares, that's over here. And you can even see what the market is at right there. So I'll just type that in and see. And they've said, yes, I will buy. So because they bought from me, I now have a negative 500 of EasyJet here. Let me see if EasyJet is doing well. Oops, it's going up. Because it's going up, that means that my minus here will cost me some money. So the more this goes up, the worse my losses are going to be. So now I have a choice. I can get rid of this position or I can keep it and see if the market changes. Anyway, I just wanted to give you a little feel for this platform. Like I said, we control it completely. We control what stocks go into it, what scenarios are created here. We have a COVID scenario. We have a stock crash scenario. We have scenarios that relate to different incidents. And the idea is to train you to think like a trader, but to also see how what you're learning in classrooms applies to this context here. Okay, maybe a very quick view of a couple of other things. So hopefully you can see this Bloomberg page as well. I don't have access to the Bloomberg terminal outside of the terminal physical in the room that we have in the building itself. But I wanted to just give you a feel for what it looks like. You may have even seen it before. So here you've got things like GDP, and you can see that there are different versions of it, nominal and real, which is like with and without inflation and so on. And then there would be other indicators as well. And this is really only, I wouldn't even say 0.1% of the database. There is so much information available here, whether it's at the kind of economy level, corporate level, or even about individuals that work at these corporations. And you can use this data in all sorts of ways, partly guided through our modules, but also independently depending on what interests you in the finance world. One more thing I'd like to share is the LSEG platform, which is, like I said, we've got Bloomberg on one hand and we've got Workspace or Reuters on the other. So there's a lot of info here and it's updating literally every half second. So, you know, you might not be seeing all the flashing numbers and colors, but we've got lots here. This is real, so this is not simulated. We've got currencies up here. You can see some are going up, some are going down. We've got European equities, American equities, so those are some of the biggest stocks, including funds there. Down here we've got news, so real news coming in from all around the world, and you can tailor it, you can have it be specific about certain events or specific to parts of the world. And then you can type different things in here, like we can put Apple, which is a corporation, and it'll bring us the Apple profile here, and we can see lots of different things, its price, a summary of it. Down here we can see what analysts are recommending. Should we buy Apple stock or sell Apple stock? We can look at ESG, which is environmental social governance performance. We can look at its competitors or peers down here, and all of these things, as you can see up here, can be looked into in a lot more detail. And again, everything can come out into Excel and be analyzed, and it's part of what we train our students to do. Okay, so I think that's where I'll stop sharing and come back to my slides just to, first of all, show you the final bit of what is available after my session. So some beautiful pictures from our students and our teaching facilities and our rooms and the successes they've had at graduation. But then also this slide here that tells you what's coming up in our virtual open day for those of you who want to join these upcoming sessions that will run until 2 o'clock. So with that said, we now have time for Q&A, and I will hand over to my colleague to read the questions that you have asked to me, and I will answer them, as many as we have time for. Thank you.
Hi, Dina. Thank you. Can you hear me?
Yes, I can. Hi, Shu.
So the first question is, can you explain more about Henley's master internship scheme as a foreign student in finance? What's my chance of getting internship in capital market industry in or around London during summer?
Yeah, very good question. So, yes, the Henley Masters Internship Scheme is a relatively new scheme that we have started where we essentially work with employers, either that we source as a business school or that the student brings to our attention, to have them pay our students, but through our own resources. So sounds a little bit convoluted, but the idea is that some smaller companies or even big companies might have opportunities to train students, but may not have the resources or the structure to hire actual interns that are paid over the summer. So what we've decided is, because we think this is so valuable for our students as experience to have, is we'll say to these employers, to these corporations, take on our student, train them, and we will give you the funds to pay them, and therefore you'd get paid as a student doing an internship. It's just through the support of Henley as opposed to the financial support of the employer themselves. And this is really one option. There are many students who do find internships that are kind of more traditional or classic. They reach out to the company has an opening over the summer, and the student works for that company and they get paid through the company, and that's it. So it's one of many ways you might get that work experience over the summer. Now, in terms of the chances of getting them, honestly, this varies a lot. And our experience and what we always say is that it is almost always based on how much the student puts into it. So if you are really keen and you talk to lots of different people, you apply lots of different places after having had that advice from the careers team about how to structure your CV and how to ace the interviews and how to kind of appropriately reach out to potential employers, then that will increase your success, your chances of success. We have had lots of different students go lots of different places. I'll just kind of go back in my slides here to show you some of the places they've gone. So you can see lots of financial services, and they're mainly actually financial services, banks, consultancies within the finance divisions. So that's kind of where our students want to go and where they have in the past found success in going. So I can't give you a statistic because it really depends. And even if I did, it will be taking into account students who aren't international and who are local, those who are working, with someone that they reached out to, let's say through family connections, and then others who will have reached out through guest speakers that we have hosted. So there's no way to really give a statistic that is reliable, but we have had lots of success, and it is something that you can aspire to reasonably. And as long as you're, willing to put in the effort, again, I keep saying this, but guided by careers advice and support, then we don't have any reason to think you wouldn't be successful at that. So it's not confirmed, it's not guaranteed in any way, but it's something that we hope students are willing to work for. Now, say you express interest in this and it doesn't work out. You just can't find something that is suitable. It's you have many other opportunities in the future to experience something like this, either through a graduate scheme, a longer internship, or just going directly into a junior role somewhere, and then deciding in 1, 2, 3 years to move into something different if that was not the experience for you. But practically at the university level, if you sign up to this module and you're not successful in finding a placement, you'll just be offered one of the other summer options that we have, and it will be a very seamless shift from one module to the other. So there's no risk in not getting a placement. There's always some other module for you to take instead. I hope that helps.
Thank you, Dina. The next question is, do I need coding skills such as Python to excel in MSc Finance and Investment?
Yeah, so we get that question a lot. So you don't need to have already done coding in the past. I won't pretend like having coding experience isn't an advantage. Of course, it can be, but we are very aware that many students will be coming from backgrounds that are not finance heavy or finance specific, but then even if they are finance specific, they may not have done coding in those years, depending on the nature of the degree. So we don't have any expectations of what you have studied and what skills you have before the pre-sessional or pre-study courses that I mentioned earlier. So let me just go to that slide again. So one of those is actually on coding. As you can see, it's Python specific, and it will tell you everything, how to actually get the Python platform open so that you can start typing the code into it. What does a dash mean in coding? What does an X mean? What does a curly bracket mean? So it really walks you through those specifics. And then if you wanted to do the finance or investment management degree, you wouldn't need as much Python as, for example, if you did the fintech degree or if you did the financial risk management degrees, which are seen as a little bit more technical. So that you can see from our website, like which of these programs have a compulsory Python or programming module. But for all the others, we really expect it on one module, which is the econometric analysis module in the first semester, where again, you have seminars where you will be taught how to use the programming software, and it will be very gradual. So that's the long answer. The short answer is you don't need to already have it. We will equip you through the pre-entry courses and the foundation modules in semester one.
Thank you, Dina. The last question is, I'm very interested in finance, but I did my bachelor degree in education. Would those courses be too advanced for me?
Yeah, also a very good question that we get all the time. So maybe that what I just talked about helps answer that a little bit. But just to reiterate, we have students come from all sorts of backgrounds. The one that I always think of is film and theater, which I think I mentioned, just because it really feels like that's as far away as you can get from finance. But maybe there are some things that are even further, like, art literature or something like that. And still, our students cope very well. Again, it's a little bit about, how much are you willing to invest if you want to really do well. And I think one of the earlier questions used the word excel. So if you want to really excel, get a distinction on your degree, which is the highest level of performance we have in the UK, then you will be putting more effort into these. You will want to become an expert and you will want to really strive to get top marks. But then there's the question of, coping. Will you do just enough? Will you be able to survive? And we've had, students on the whole spectrum with all sorts of different backgrounds. So to clarify, and to give you an example, last year, our top performer who got the best score across all of our programs actually came from a medicine background. So, he did medicine as an undergrad, or he started with medical school and sciences and then moved into finance. And then we've also had students in the past with very linguistic degrees, so French, for example, do very, very well. And sometimes it can work against you to have done an undergrad in finance because you might take it easy and say, oh, I already know this stuff, so I don't need to learn. And we make sure to really warn students not to think that way, so that they can really power up and step up through the master's degree. Unfortunately, we have seen that kind of, let's call it ambition kind of really take hold once everyone starts to get into the culture that we try to foster here. So yeah, long story short, success and excelling on our programs is in no way related to what you've done before joining us. As long as you're willing to apply yourself through these pre-entry courses and through the modules we deliver, especially at the beginning of the year, that really give you that base, that foundation, then you have every opportunity open to you to be a top performer and go on and do and get a really kind of top job in the sector as well.
Dina, I think that's all the questions, and we're ready to wrap it up.
Great. Okay, thank you, everyone. So just going back to the slides here to remind you of other things you can move on to now. So the contact details for myself and my colleagues Nadia and Simone are also available on this slide. You can drop us an email with more questions. I've clarified there which which programs we look after. So if your question is very specific about some of the programs my colleagues look after, you might want to contact them instead of me, but we are all happy to receive questions from anyone. And if we think someone else might be better able to answer, we will let you know and we will copy them in. But also for today, like right now, there are things you can do. You can visit our career services talk or our drop-in for that, and also talk to current students. So you have the QR codes there, hopefully easy to scan, and also a link that you can follow for more information. Thank you again, everyone. I hope this was useful. Hope to hear from you and hopefully even see you soon. Thank you also to my colleagues who have helped manage the technical aspects of today's talk and the Q&A. Thanks, everyone.